Ni mojawapo ya zile ajenda ambazo alizitoa wakati wa kampeni. Hebu sasa tuvuke moja kwa moja tusikilize ni kipi kinajiri katika uzinduzi huo.
We had a subsidy program. They would buy subsidized fertilizer, repackage and go and sell it. But this time round, technology helped us to deal with them. And they must be very sad people because they never got a chance to pilferage our fertilizer. And as a result, we have this year's maize harvest, for example, is going to be 15 million bags more than last year. Similarly, millions of hustlers have been able to register with the Hustler Financial Inclusion Fund and received affordable credit that is not necessarily secured by anything other than their ability and their credit rating in terms of how they pay. And they can now grow their credits, grow their businesses, and meet other financial needs. At the same time, we are now able to provide Kenyan learners all the way from early childhood development and education stage to the tertiary levels of university, various colleges and institutes, as well as technical and vocational education and training with financial support and capitation in order to improve the quality of facilities, provide more teachers, improve the curriculum, and make education affordable in our institutions of learning. I was having a conversation with CS Machogu on the applications that now are online for all our children who are, all our students who are going to our TVETs and our universities. We had to work with the technology providers to make sure that it expanded the capacity for the hundreds of thousands of learners who are applying. And I am very confident and I'm very happy that technology has made many things easy, affordable, efficient, transparent, and accountable. Our universal health coverage, as was said ably by CS here, is off to a very brilliant start with the recent launch of the Community Health Promoter System, which will provide preventive and promotive health services at the grassroots countrywide and facilitate diagnostic and early detection of conditions requiring curative attention to Kenyans from the comfort of their homes and in all instances free of charge. All these interventions have made unprecedented progress in expanding inclusion, enabling previously marginalized groups and households who are typically the most vulnerable and in need of these opportunities, both in terms of participation and contribution, as well as receiving support and benefits. More households are now involved in gainful economic activity in various sectors. And as the bottom-up economic transformation agenda gets underway properly, this positive change will begin to demonstrate manifest progress. If what CS Nakumicha is anything to go by, we are shedding off a lot of baggage and a lot of unnecessary paperwork and a lot of cumbersome processes and making it simpler because of the benefit of technology and because of digitization. The provision of various services and opportunities to Kenyans has relied on finding the most efficient means of expanding access and enhancing inclusion, devising the best modalities of guaranteeing security and reliability, and formulating the most effective instruments of evaluating the nature and extent of need and fixing it using technology, digitization, and building of networks. Our farmers interact with extension services without leaving their homes or farms because extension officers facilitate them to register and submit relevant data to update their input, what type of mechanization they want, what kind of diseases they encounter, and what kind of pest control measures that would make them much more productive, as well as all other needs. Similarly, the National Education Management Information System constantly updates relevant information about every learner and their socioeconomic background to ensure that the means testing instruments remain accurate and reliable in determining the learner's level of financial and other needs. The Hustler Fund has been able to serve millions of Kenyans from all walks of life, especially and consistently and conveniently and repeatedly, lending billions of shillings in unsecured loans and recovering it without need for drastic, expensive, or time-consuming procedures. We are going to celebrate a 1-year anniversary of the Hustler Fund shortly, maybe next month. And we have wonderful stories. In fact, I had an occasion last week. You can see my hair is newly shaved. So my barber came to do some work on what is left of my hair. And in the process, he asked me, Mr. President, you know, my savings on the Hustler Fund is now 5,600. Why is it the case that my limit is still at 5,000? Why don't you consider the fact that I have saved 5,000? Why don't you increase my limit? And it was a fundamental question. I have since put that question to the CS. I have put that question to Safaricom. I have put that question to all the other stakeholders in that space, because we need to answer that gentleman, because the next time he comes to visit me, I need to have answers for him. I was very honest with him. I didn't have an answer at that point. So, I mean, there are many Kenyans out there who truly know what it means to have access to affordable credit and how much difference it makes for their businesses. We have also transformed the provision of public services by making it possible for Kenyans to access them online through their mobile devices. Community health, agricultural extension support, Hustler Fund, and the National Education Management Information System are not only the only services whose provision has been transformed by digitization and automation. The government has increased the number of public services accessible through digital services to over 13,000, freeing up the people to concentrate on their lives and livelihoods and go about their business without the necessity of queuing, the necessity of traveling to try and access government services. And I must congratulate the Ministry of ICT working with the Ministry of Interior for what they are doing around that space. I did agree with them. I gave them some timelines on where we needed to move. I think many people did not believe that it was possible to move government services substantially to be available on the digital space. We had only 320 government services a year ago. Today we have 13,000, and we are well on course in making sure that by the end of this year or shortly thereafter, all government services will be available online. Already, the digital ID, which has been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December, we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise, as an ID that they should be able to be identified digitally using their iris or their fingerprints, and we can transact without the necessity of people struggling to identify who they are. And the proudest part of it is that we don't have to spend the billions that we have spent on all the other manenos, as all of you know. We recognize that this digital transformation will be sustained by significantly reducing the cost of digital access throughout the country. This is why our digital superhighway strategy is critical for national socioeconomic transformation. And in the first instance, we want Kenyans to access services efficiently through fast, secure, and affordable digital connectivity from the comfort of their homes and hustles. Secondly, we want more Kenyans to access opportunities to develop careers in the digital technology space by having the chance to innovate, research, develop, and collaborate even when they are based back home in the village or any mtaa for that matter. Thirdly, it is time to usher in Kenyans in their millions fully into the promise and possibilities of the local, regional, and global digital economy. The establishment of last-mile fiber optic and local connectivity infrastructure, as well as the development of grassroots digital hubs, go a long way towards enriching the Kenyan experience of a transformed government services and digital economy. We're aware that the cost of smart devices remain prohibitive for many, and that as a result constitute a significant barrier to universal inclusion and access to various services and opportunities that are intended to be freely available otherwise. To overcome this critical challenge to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we identified the production of affordable smart digital devices as one urgent priority, as I said earlier, that will guarantee the possibility of universal digital access for the people of Kenya to enjoy more and better services and opportunities in both public and the private spaces. The provision of affordable digital smart devices is no longer just about mobile telephony and fintech penetration. It is also about universal access to private and public sector goods and services as the driver of national transformation. It is not possible for transformation to be at the rate, at the scale, and at the speed that we want unless we have the devices to assist us unlock that potential. We have pledged to support this development by providing infrastructure that will spur digital signatures and the implementation of digital national identity. This message here is that this time round, we are going digital in full, on a large scale, across every sector, because Kenya's transformation is going to be a digital transformation. It is just simply put that way. This event, therefore, has far greater significance in terms of enhancing digital experience for millions of Kenyans. The launch of a locally assembled smart device is a brilliant milestone in and of itself, but its broader implications for both public and private sector efficiency, integrity, and security that will bring out its significance in full is what we are waiting to experience. I congratulate the investors, and as I said, two fundamental things, maybe more, are going to be achieved by this device. When I see 300 Kenyans employed in this facility that will produce 3 million devices. And those 3 million devices will be 30% cheaper than if we had imported them complete as units. So we have the benefit of jobs for our young people, and we have the benefit of a much more affordable product. I was also able to persuade these two gentlemen and the other investors to preload eCitizen, the platform upon which we are delivering government services, on the phones, so that every Kenyan who buys this phone will have government services ready on the phone, and they don't have to go looking for it. Please, gentlemen, muliniambia pale, please. Si tunakubaliana vile tumekubaliana. So mambo mawili tumekubaliana na hawa wangwana. Sio yale matatu, ni mawili. Tumekubaliana ya kwanza, ile faida, tulikubaliana na hawa jamaa ya kwamba mambo ya simu ambayo mwananchi wa kawaida anaweza kununua kwa gharama ambayo inatoshana na mwananchi, na simu ambayo inaweza kutumika kama smartphone. Wananchi wengi vile mmesikia hapa, asilimia karibu 70 wananunua simu ya mulikamwizi kwa sababu ya gharama ya simu. Lakini hiyo mulikamwizi haiwezi kufanya mambo mengi ambayo mwananchi wa kawaida angetaka afanye. Haiwezi kuwa na data, haiwezi kuwa na nini, ni inasumbua. Sasa inakuwa tu ni simu ya kupiga simu kwa voice ama makelele. So sasa tunataka kuhamisha, tupeleke katika hatua ya pili. Na kupitia kwa kiwanda hii ambayo imetengenezwa hapa, ya kwanza tumepata ajira ya vijana wa taifa letu la Kenya.